Are so much richer in many ways. Joining us is Don Talbert, a self-employed communications expert who is our Fox 9 Global Volunteer of the Month. Welcome.
Morning.
You've had some interesting travels. Let's talk about them. Your latest trip in Tanzania, the bricks, for instance.
Yes.
Explain what you had to work with and what these bricks were used for.
Well, the school is built in an abandoned army camp, so the buildings are all run down. So they're slowly refurbing the building. We had to haul sand up from the reservoir where there's a hydroelectric dam, and we had to then mix in the cement all by hand.
Can we bring in those pictures of the bricks? Right here? There we go.
And had just two handmade forms that we had to pound the cement down. Yep, there you go. And that's where they're drying. And the bricks are going to be filling in those windows. They're refurbishing that building. So.
And now here's a picture of you with a fellow named Jacoby.
Jacoby? Jacob.
Jacob. Oh,
Jacob.
Well, sorry about that.
I've actually been to Tanzania twice. The first time I was there, he was about 2 feet shorter and couldn't speak English very well, but he was by my side the whole time with a big smile on his face. So this last time I got to see him, he'd grown, and I was really impressed with how well his English was. I had been corresponding with him over the last couple of years, and so it was really fun to see him again.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because you've made two trips there now.
Right.
You've also worked closely with a school nurse in Tanzania. Tell us how you worked with her and what kind of supplies that you brought to her.
Yes. RAMSID is a nonprofit organization here in the Twin Cities that gives or collects medical supplies and makes them available overseas. And so both times I went to Tanzania, I filled up a backpack of gauze and bandages and suture kits and gloves, because if anybody does have has to go to the hospital or anything, they need to bring things with them. They don't have any supplies. So I worked with her and brought her all kinds of first aid supplies for her. She's in charge of the 400 kids at the school that we were at, and all of the teachers and workers there. So it was fun to restock her shelves.
Yeah, I'm sure she's got a big smile. Let's talk about the living conditions and the kids, for instance. The students have to work so much harder just to get an education. They suffer bouts of malaria,
typhoid. The region that this school is in, there's a hydroelectric dam there, so malaria is terrible. It's a boarding school. They live in real rundown dormitories, but they're just so thankful to be able to go to school and have an opportunity. They see that as the key to their future. So they, gather wood for the cooks every day after their schooling is done. Haul water. They take care of the classrooms. They clean. They, carry water on their heads up from the reservoir.
Let's take a look here. I'm going to quickly go to Vietnam. This was another trip that you took. And we'll just touch briefly on this. This is you with some students?
Me with some students, and this school was actually in the city, so much different than in Tanzania. But these students, these two particular students, wanted to really practice their English, and so they came to our hotel every day after school so that they could practice some more, but take their schooling very seriously. This was one of my classes. I think 40 to 50 kids in a class.
Wow. And I'm guessing they're probably very hardworking students.
Yep, very hardworking, very disciplined. Yes, much different than sometimes that you find here in the cities.
Agreed. Well, Don Talbert, it was such a pleasure to have you here, a Global Volunteer of the Month.
Yeah, well, it's a great organization. I'm glad to be able to give it a boost.
I second you on that one. And by the way, if you'd like to become a Global Volunteer, you can log on to this website, globalvolunteers.org.